Hello, welcome to the Seeking Heaven channel, and I am Tamara Caulder Richardson. I'm your host. I'm a 6-time near-death experiencer, afterlife speaker, evidential psychic medium known as the Southern Belle Medium, and welcome to the live chat, which I call Seeker Speak. I call the people that are like me, that love this channel, true seekers, because we're here. This is a safe platform that we can look at answers, ask questions without any judgment, and just in a state of love and curiosity. So before we begin, introduction of our guest, which is awesome. I can't wait. It's about angels tonight. One of my favorite topics. First one, Jesus. Second one, angels. They kind of go together. So look, if you are not a member of this channel, I would ask you to look into my membership perks. They're great. They start off, I think it's like $2.99 up to $24.99. The $24.99, you get 90 minutes a month with me doing intuitive reading. So spiritual guidance, whatever that means, I work with the heaven angelic realm. So it's all good. But, and then, also medium demonstrations. So someone needs a message that has crossed over to heaven. So that's a really good deal. So check it out. You can, and if you're not at a point that you can donate at this time, you can always watch, make comments, tell your friends. And that really helps things too. So let me bring on tonight's guest, which is Candice Sanderson. Hey, Candice.
Hey, Tamara. Thank you for having me. This will be once again another fun time.
Yeah, so we were just saying I had too much fun last time. I was like a little kid. I was just, another thing. I was just so excited to have you on. And you just have such a beautiful spirit about you. Let me mention a couple things about you, and then we'll jump into the angel program. So Candice, it's funny because actually God told me, I don't even know how I honestly found you. Really, I think I was trying to buy a book on Amazon and your book came up. It's never random with these things.
Right.
But it felt random. And I heard, you need to get her. I said, her? And yeah, I didn't even know, what she looked like. I hadn't even looked at your picture. I didn't even know. I was like, okay. And then now I understand why, because Candice is very humble, but she was for many years, almost 40 years, a school psychologist. And one morning woke up and God's talking to her. Yes. And now because it is God, and you think about it, God, Christ, the angelic realm. That's kind of, you got to think who else is there. I get Mother Mary, you probably do. You get angels, because that's that realm. And she's awakened to that. And she works with angels, and she has 2 books she's going to tell us about, which the first one is The Reluctant Messenger, which is so cute, because can you imagine? You're a normal person somewhat. And then, boom, you're a divine messenger somewhat. And then the second one, the Reluctant Messenger Returns, right, which is more the angel stories. But I know people, that watch this channel love angel stories. Well, who doesn't? Who wouldn't love an angel story?
Right.
So I thought what we would do is tell us, first of all, real quick, what's in the first book, what to expect. Because it's really good, guys. You need to buy it. It doesn't cost a lot. It's really awesome. It'll help you on your spiritual path. Just a little quick snippet, the kind of things to expect from the first book, second book. And then I want to jump right into how you communicate with your angels.
Okay. And thank you so much for having me. This is wonderful.
You're welcome.
Oh, well, thank you. The first book, The Reluctant Messenger, it talks about my spiritual journey. And Tamara, like you said, this just happened all at once. I'm driving to work one morning, and all of a sudden, boom, the world just opens up to me. And I get this message, beautiful message. And from that point on, it turned out that I was this messenger from the non-physical realm. I didn't plan on it, had no idea it would happen to me, but it did. And the first book is filled with all sorts of messages from different realms. There are cosmic beings, there are angels. I visited a place called the Realms of Light where I saw Jesus and Buddha. It was just fantastic, but it really, really changed my life.
Wow. Well, that would change your life to see Jesus and Buddha, and people from different religions or no religions. FYI, people that are holy kind of go in that same area. Okay, we're not competing with the whole Jesus thing. Just letting you know. But there are holy people there, and they're all different religions. I mean, we need to expand our mind. So there, of course, so keep going.
Right. Okay. And the second book is The Reluctant Messenger Returns. And the subtitle is An Unexpected Adventure into the Angelic Realm. And what this book does, it gives a more narrow focus on just angels. Well, it's not really just angels, it's the angelic realm,
Right.
because there's more than just angels there. And there was all sorts of information that I learned about it. It's a fascinating and very holy place to be, is when you're with the angels.
No kidding. And you know what, guys? You're all going to get high today. You know why? Because there's no high like the most high. It's true, right? Because when you're working with the divine and the angelic realm, I'm already getting high. And oh my God, this is so funny. I'm already just saying that. I'm like, okay, so this is going to be good. Don't think that it can just stay with me. It can be everywhere, right? Because what is omnipotent? They can be everywhere. Their energy is so high because they're coming from that realm.
Yes. And you know what's so interesting? I've had conversations with angels like, do you really have wings? And what they've told me is that many of us humans think of them with wings and they say that's okay. But what they've told me is that they are actually high vibrational energy beings who inhabit the non-physical realms. But their energy is so high. There's so much love and holiness with it, that they are vibrating at such a high rate that when we see them with our third eye, we see the vibrations and we interpret it as wings.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's the same thing they tell me about with Jesus and the saints. When in the Bible, you know, we talk about seeing them with halos. Well, the halo was their energy, their crown chakra energy. It was so strong that people would see it as a halo.
Yes, absolutely. And you've seen that through history. Or I took a high Italian Renaissance art in college for 2 years. It was one of the things I had to pick, and I did that. And of course, you have a lot of angel and Jesus and saints photos and all of that. And you had the halos above. But I think that what I see is that now that it is your crown chakra opened up as a connection. So that would look yellow, wouldn't it? So I think that they, and you know, maybe people perceive that or read auras, but that's how I see that. I wanted to talk about, before we get started, I want to kind of cover a little bit of ground about, you know, angels are light beings, and I do like the wings idea. I've got my angel necklace on. Isn't it pretty? Yeah. I love angel stuff. I got angel stuff everywhere. You can ask my husband, God bless him. My mom's like, yeah, you got a lot of Jesus and angel stuff everywhere. Okay, but it's not creepy. It's very nice. So anyway, angels are bright light beings, and I'm putting here, angels can be seen. They can be seen as bright lights, orbs, flashes of lights, and I'm going to see if I left anything out. Flashes, because flashes of light, and also waves of light. Did I leave anything out?
You know, what I see generally when I see angels,
waves of color.
Yes, I see these beautiful waves of pink and green energy that just float in the room.
Right. Okay. So I just want to let people know it can be many things. I've seen them different ways too, and it can be all of those or none of those. So to me, when they show up, I'm gonna, you know, we're just comparing notes right now because it is different for different people how we perceive them. And it doesn't mean one's right or wrong. Just give you some clues how we both see them, so you can recognize in yourself how you might see them. But for me, when they're close, and if I ask, this is a fun trick. You want to try this? You know, Father God, I ask your holy angels and your archangels to draw close to everyone watching right now, to feel the love and the vibration within us all, and that we are all loved in the core of our heart, and we all are as one in the divine light. You start to feel them get closer and get high. They love talk like that. They love if I talk like this more, they go, woo, yeah. They go, woo, hallelujah. They love when you talk like that, and you can start feeling. So I feel like a raise of energy, you know, goose pimply, but not in a way like Halloween scary. It's more like, woo, like a raise of energy.
Yes.
Sometimes I'll hear ringing in my right ear. I've seen flashes of light, not like fairies. You're like, great, we'll hit that topic one day. Like little boom. You're like, God, the world I live in. And unicorns. Flashes of light, but I've seen them as orbs, bright up lights. I've seen them as color. I've seen them, I don't know, waves. I've seen them where I can see them in certain parts of the house, colors. Right. What did I leave out?
Well, actually, anybody can see them in any way. After a while, once you connect with them, you start figuring out what way works best for you and what is your sign. Like I generally get the pink and the green with most angels, but some angels like the seraphim, there's a purple mist that comes. When it's Metatron, I see sacred geometry. But one thing that's always there is how I feel. If I'm in a meditation or driving to work, when the angels come, Tamara, I have this overwhelming feeling in my heart of just this pure love. And normally it's like, wah, wah, I start crying because it's so almost overwhelming. It is just so beautiful. So some of the listeners might also, maybe they don't see anything or they don't see it yet, but they feel something within their heart. And that feeling is very, very important. That's what's always there for me, is that almost overwhelming feeling of love.
Yeah, it's almost like brings you to tears. And like I said, when you start talking to me, what draws them close, there's various things, but a real sure way, if you start talking about God and Jesus, who's the commander of the angels, that's what I've been told multiple times. He is the commander. They're like, yes, yes. It's like their way of saluting. And if you start saying like, glory to the highest and blah, 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 they love talk like that. They'll just totally come so fast. They love it. They just jump right in there and it's like barbershop quartet. They just start singing with you. So it's funny. I wanted to bring this up for people because we were talking the other night about Metatron, which is somewhat new. Metatron. Now, some argue he's an archangel. He, she, they're not really gender, whatever. But I would see him as an archangel. How do you see him? He's pretty powerful.
Yes, it's my understanding that he is an archangel. So he's like one of them up there. But when it's interesting, I took a class. Well, you can read about it in the book, but I took
Get the book.
But I took a class on Metatron, and we mentioned that yesterday. We were talking about Metatron. And I've got to share with the audience, you sent me an email after that, and you had found something you Googled something about Metatron, and you were talking about different things associated with them. And one of them was pink and green. And it's like, I had no idea. But that is what I see when I see angels, that pink and green. Generally, it's very pastel colors, but with Metatron, it's very bold pink and green.
Right. Absolutely. And we actually, we're still learning, right?
Yes.
I'm still learning.
Me too.
But he's supposed to help with life purpose, Metatron. I know St. Michael does that a little bit. They say that he was in the let's see what it says, the Bible and the Torah, about that he actually was, there's Metatron supposed to be broken into two, Sandalphon, and they were people. They were, one was Enoch. They were one of the few that were human. I think Nathaniel was human too, as well. So they ascended. I don't really know how that works. I'm not God. but remember we were talking about how you see Metatron, and I said that I saw a deep, I said, it's not red, but it's like a deep pink or magenta. But then I would see green. So I thought, oh, he's hanging out with Raphael. I didn't know that pink and green was him.
Right. I didn't either.
And he's been with me for a year. And I went back and looked at our first recording, which was yesterday, guys, which was really a fun interview. You've got to see it. It was so good. But I looked back on it and I went, because this is live. And so I looked back on that. You were talking about Merkabahs. Do you know, within the last month, I didn't even know what that was. I see them all the time in sacred geometry. and which has expanded my consciousness, meaning to see things. And I see them all the time too. And I've got a whole bunch of stuff in that. That's pretty crazy stuff. Yeah. So that's a whole nother story, but I'm now seeing it. Didn't even know what it was.
Well, that's fascinating because that's what happened with me. I mean, when I had my spontaneous opening, here I am, a psychologist driving to work, and I didn't really believe in these things. I didn't believe in anything except science. Unless you could measure it, it's like it didn't exist. And all of a sudden I'm open. So what my experiences, I kept having these experiences and I would write them down. And then later I would research and come up with, this information that would validate it. But with Metatron, all of a sudden in a Metatron class, I am building a Merkabah, and I didn't even know what it was.
What do you mean?
I had no idea what a star tetrahedron was. I didn't
either.
I didn't learn that until I had the experiences.
Me too.
And I Googled what are two pyramids, combined together.
I did too. So what are these two pyramids? It's the same thing.
Exactly.
But yours happened before me.
I mean, isn't that just crazy? But I love it.
It is.
Because it validates that you're having these experiences that are brand new to you. You don't have any information about this. And then you Google it later and it's like, oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. So yes, the Merkabah is associated with Metatron. I had no idea. You had no idea.
I had no clue about any of that. I was actually trying to make the membership perks. It's called the Flower of Life. The God. So it was too small to show up, so I did the symbol of God instead. That's never been in my viewpoint. But now I dream, and I wake up a sacred geometry, and I did not know what that meant. Apparently. My thoughts on that is it's kind of holy and sacred. That's where I'm thinking this is going.
Yeah.
Don't you think? That's the best that I can come up with it.
Absolutely.
And then I wanted to give people an idea. It said that the Merkabah was thought to be a divine. I just pulled something up. The Merkabah was thought to be a divine light vessel. And it transported people from one dimension to another, thus enabling them to access information like the Akashic Records or the Book of Life. Yeah. I would agree with that. It's also called the Star of David. And let's see. And that's in Jewish and Christian stuff. Now, I don't know if it's anywhere. Look, this is all new to me. But it is something that is mystical, which I would say we both are. I've just got to jump on that. But yeah, I think it's fascinating because it's actually evidential when you don't know about something. And then you get something. It's also found in the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel is a prophet for God. I don't know if you know that. Interesting. We're learning here.
Yes. And when I was taking these classes on Metatron, there were 5 or 6 classes. And so I didn't research this until the classes were done. And in one of the last classes, and you can read about it in my second book, is I had built this Merkabah, not knowing what it was. And then in my mind's eye, I lifted off and went into the cosmos. Then when I did research and I found out that the Merkabah is considered a chariot of light and,
I saw that too.
And a vehicle. And it's like, oh my gosh, you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah,
but it's beautiful.
Mysticism.
It's beautiful to get those kinds of validations on something you don't know about. And this is something that can be good for your audience as well, too. If you connect with a holy being, with, someone you think that might be Jesus or might be an angel, ask for information, document it, and then later research it. And once you start researching and you realize the information that you received is true, then you start building up that trust and you realize, oh my gosh, this is real. This is
okay.
Real.
So I didn't know we were going this direction. We both follow spirit. We do have some angel meditations and stuff for you. Okay, so Rosemary, hey Rosemary, and I want to say hey to a couple people here. We've got Adriana, Susan, Clay, Mark. I'm trying to go through them all, and Rosemary. So hello, welcome. Okay, so how truthful do I want to be? Okay, let me think how I want to say this. Thanks, Rosemary. Okay, what triggered my experience? And I'll ask. I can only tell you what I think. I think wherever you are on your path, when you're ready, it will appear. Okay, just like when you're ready, what do they say? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I think that when you're ready for your next step, that will appear.
Yes.
So first of all, I think I was primed for the pump. I think I was ready to go. The second thing is it started happening in my dream etheric world because these higher realms are etheric and connect to our etheric body, not our human body. So it's our etheric self. We have several light bodies. And so it was connecting my dream state. And I started seeing it. And then okay, here's the part. Everybody hold on. I did this for energy healing. Candice, like God, Tamara's so uninhibited. What's she going to say? I had a friend. You asked me, Rosemary. If people ask me, I'll tell you. But if you don't ask, I might not say anything. So I had a friend, South Africa, terrific person. And I told her, oh, my energy's been so weird these days. It was 2 months ago, not even 2 months. And I said, it's been so strange. I usually just pray or sit in meditation. I put the bright light of God. Or I'm cool, but I can't get it going. She goes, a lot of us light workers are like that all around the world. She knows people all around the world. She has like a wellness conference online. I was like, really? Goes, oh, yeah. You need to see my friend, Fiona. And so I was like, what about her? And she goes, well, she does these things where it aligns your chakras. I said, I can do that. She goes, no, she does a DNA activation. I'm like, what's that? She goes, I don't know, but I had it. It was fantastic. I feel 100% better. And I said, well, is she weird? She goes, no, she's sweet. She's sweet as pie. She's so nice. And I'm like,
now wait a minute, Tamara. You're asking if you and me, we're a lot alike, and you're asking if someone else is weird.
No, I already know that I'm not normal. Okay. And so I just couldn't get it together. I had emotions going on. What the heck's going on with me? She goes, it's going on with a lot of people. So I don't usually go to people because they have to, not to be ugly, but they usually have to be a higher vibration than me. Kind of like Jesus got John the Baptist to baptize him because he couldn't just get some like bum on the street, because it might not be a good thing for him. And so she goes, no, she's cool. I said, you sure? She goes, yes. And I really trust her. I was like, okay. So I got on there. I had no clue whatsoever. Very sweet little face. We're doing the thing. She's from South Africa, so we're on the Zoom. She explains a whole hour what's involved, and the sacred geometry. And I'm going, like, okay, I'm like mildly interested. I'm just like, just make me feel better. And so we go into it. And I lay down, and I did not expect this. I saw things in 3D, these triangles happening, all these different things. I saw the angels. I saw Jesus. I saw Pleiades. Because she's a Pleiadian. Never knew about that before. Oh, God, my world. You think you guys are growing. I know. Me too. Wasn't in my vocabulary. But apparently they're all into love and peace, so it's all good. So when I was done, I literally started glowing. And then I've done one more, and I glue a lot, like literally inside out. And I think it's my true state or something. We have a true state from I don't know how long ago, trillions of years. I just felt great. And I've been seeing that ever since. And then it was when the 555 manifestation that's going on, it started May 26th through June 10th. There's a lot going on. And I'm like, people are telling me, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm such a pain in the butt. I'm like, because I'm busy. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. Okay, it's another blood moon, big deal. And so it's supposed to be a big positive change. And so I was given, a friend said, would you want to do an online meditation? I said, okay, sure, I'll show up for support. Sure. I had no makeup on. I had the phone, looking at my gobbler under here. I was, I just showed up. It was not like attractive. And I went into meditation, and with all the other people, I was given a Merkabah then. And I was given it to by Jesus, and it was a light being. And I'm not going to say who it was, but I was given it. I said, why? And I said, what's this for? And they said, oh, it transforms energy, something positive. And I said, why? Because through your intentions, you'll transform things. I said, well, I need it right here in my chest. And he said, okay. He said, but you can give it to other people. I said, well, I only have one. He goes, no, you don't. It multiplies. And it's like, okay. So I didn't even know about that. I did my second one, and it actually opens different dimensions. It brought me up to the 6th dimension, opened 50 chakras. That's the best stuff I've ever had. And I know a lot. Wow. I mean, look, I don't know everything. I don't know everything, but I know a lot of stuff. I've been like this since I came out of the hatch. I've been studying spirituality And people like me since I can remember. I remember being 12 years old in the library, and this is the best stuff I've ever seen.
Wow.
It's amazing. I think it's what it is. I'm guessing it just kind of connects us back to our true self, because we have a lot of chaos surrounding us, and it's a centering thing. It's a divine thing, sacred. That's all I can say.
Wow, that is amazing.
You asked Rosemary. Okay, I came out of the weird hatch, but you know what? It was a good thing. I did it really kind of flippantly, like I trusted the person, and it was like one of the most amazing things I've done. I just kind of showed up. Yeah. So, but for you, it showed up differently. You want to tell us how you showed up?
Well, mine, I mean, I was listening to you. You say you've been like this forever, and when you're 6 years old, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm in my 60s when I'm driving to work one morning.
It's never too late.
You're right. It's never too late. And my whole world just opened up with these beautiful messages that came in. And I now look back and I realize my dreams, the messengers were coming to me. The angels were coming to me in my dreams.
Absolutely.
And I've kept a dream journal forever. It's like 250,000 words long. And
I keep a journal too.
You know, that's the perfect place for them to connect with you, because your ego is, you know, pushed aside. You're not judging. In a dream, you might walk through a wall and you don't stop and say, wait, I can't walk through a wall.
It's not scary, right? It's not scary in a dream.
Yeah. So, you know, I apparently wasn't ready until I was driving to work that morning.
Got it.
And it was time. I was ready.
So Rosemary wants to know what do you think initially triggered it? Obviously, you said you're ready, but I mean, you've been through. You're very beautiful and outgoing, but you've been through some tragedy too. So, how do you feel like a person's emotional state has to be ready? They have to be at a point where they can receive it too, in that way?
I don't know if it's your emotional state as much as you just need to be at a point when you can receive it. I mean, angels are around us all the time. I've had so many connections and conversations with them. They have told me that there is what they call a transition team. So when we come to Earth, when we're born into a physical body, we have a transition team of angels that come with us. They stay with us for a while. A lot of them go back, but some from that transition team stay with us throughout our lives. When it's time for us to drop our physical forms and, you know, go back home to source or to heaven or whatever you call it, that whole transition team comes in again and they take us. But to answer your question, when I wrote this first book in 2000, it was published in 2018, I didn't even know what happened and how I had been primed for this to occur. I actually thought it just happened one day. And then, and it's in my second book, I had a miracle that occurred with me. And I don't know about you, but I've never known anyone personally who's actually had a medical miracle until it happened to me. Back in 2012, I had a thyroidectomy. And when they took my thyroid out, they paralyzed my vocal cord. And yes.
Oh my God.
I
didn't know that.
I couldn't talk. I went 3 months without being able to speak. Now, I'm a psychologist, and at the time I was working as a school psychologist in an elementary school. I can't do my job without talking. So I had to wear this microphone headset, and I would whisper. I could only whisper, but this would magnify my whispers. And I had this voice box that I would wear around my neck or on my
Dear Lord, how long did that go on?
Well, it was a little over 3 months. I went back to the surgeon and he said, you know, your vocal cord's paralyzed. It's like, you know, really? I mean, I knew it was. So he sent me to a specialist. So I went to an ENT. And he scoped my throat, and when he's with this little camera, and he said, your vocal cord's paralyzed, your right vocal cord. Well, I knew that, But what's happened now is I have medical proof that I have a paralyzed vocal cord. He wanted me to come back the next week. We were going to do surgery. He was actually going to do the surgery, and I was just going to go, ah! And they were going to rebuild my vocal cord.
Oh my God. Well, that's kind of intense.
Very intense. But I had to do something. You know, I needed my voice. So what I did, instead of making an appointment for the next week, I said, I whispered, I'm going out of town. I'll make an appointment when I come back. Well, long story short, I went to Monroe Institute in Virginia for a retreat.
Oh, that's when you went. What year was that?
This was in 2013. This was in February. And during one of the meditations, Buddha came to me. Now, you've got to realize, I grew up in Western Kentucky. I grew up as a Southern Baptist.
That's hysterical to me. You guys that are from the South, I love Jesus, but there's a lot of pressure. I mean, if you don't, if you want a Buddhist, I mean, it's a lot of, it's just different here, right? Yeah. It's a way of life.
It is. You are enculturated in the Bible. You follow Jesus. That's it. So in this meditation, Buddha came to me. Buddha's not even in my orbit. He's not on my radar. That's why I knew I wasn't making this up. If I was making this up, I would have seen Jesus. And Buddha said to me, be silent for 24 hours and you will be healed. And I'm thinking, holy cow. Now we're live, so I can't tell you what I really thought. It wasn't cow, but it's like, holy cow.
Yeah. So it was an epiphany. It was like a holy epiphany.
Yes. So 24 hours, I kept that promise. I didn't speak. And when that passed, I was speaking just like this. Just like this. Now, the secret behind this is 2 or 3 days before I went to the doctor to have this scope, so now I have this medical proof, I had a message from an angel. Now, this is before I had opened. And I recorded it on my phone, and I said, angels are surrounding me, and they're telling me that the reason behind my losing my voice is because I needed to become a voice of the angels. I needed to be a voice for others to hear. Now, this little hidden voice memo, I didn't even find that until after my book was published. And then I find it, and it's like, oh my gosh, it was the angels who were behind this all along. So they tell me what needed to be done. I got healed like 2 or 3 days later. And then several months later, bam, I'm totally open.
So you were going to have surgery like what, a day or two later, and you got healed beforehand?
Yeah, well, the next week I was supposed to go in for the pre-surgical process where we would, get the insurance and do all that. But I was going to have surgery.
Okay. Well, here's, the best healer in the world. Jesus. It's Jesus or God or the divine. I mean, he's resurrected me. He reminds me, I resurrected you. I was dead, clinically dead. So here's the good news in that. If you're not ready to go home, you're going to be here. Don't worry about it, no matter what happens. Right. But if boom, your chicken's done, you need to take it out of the oven, God's going to let you know when it's time. I mean, he's ultimately in control and the ultimate healer. And that's amazing. And this is cool because it's not really like, oh, I'm dead, near-death experience, but you had a certified, bona fide miracle from God. Yes. And so resurrection's kind of a miracle. Losing your entire vocal cords is a miracle. Dr. Yvonne Kaysen, she had for 12 years, she slipped on the ice. It's in her book, Touch from the Light, but I think she was Niagara Falls and she slipped on the ice and she not only died, but she couldn't think right with her brain anymore. She couldn't drive a car. She couldn't take her kids to school. She could not be a family ND anymore, like for 12 years. And she finally surrendered to God and said, all right, I'll just be here and pray for people if that's what you want. And she had an instant healing, go warp down through her spine, and her entire mind came back. So don't think these things don't happen. They do happen. So, and also, what a great person to for it to be healed. Candice, you couldn't make it without speaking. I'm just going to.
I know.
The Lord's like, we got to help her because she needs her voice. Donna's here. I want to say hey to Donna. She's got like
hey Donna,
a barrage of questions here. How much are you two the same person? I know. I'm just finding that out. I mean, it's not. You'd think we've known each other thousands of years. We probably have, but the point is, we just met on the show, right?
Right.
But God did tell me to pick you out, and I said, why? I was actually quite fussy. Sorry, no offense. I'm like, why? Who's she? And not that I look for names. I don't. And he's like, she's great. I'm like, okay, and then you are. So we did not know a lot of the similarities we had. Gosh, she's got a lot of questions.
And I'm so glad you're feeling the questions because I can't see them from here.
Oh, you can't?
So,
okay.
No.
Okay. Okay. So good. You can't see them when I post them?
No, I see them when you post them, but I don't see them live.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay, good. I'll post them. So Donna's saying, Candice, everything you hear from your angels is evidential. When did you feel this was real for you?
Oh, wow. When did I feel it was real? Well,
the Merkabah?
No, even before then. I mean, I'm driving to work when I get this message, and very briefly, it was a message about a flower, and it said a flower, when it reaches down to Mother Earth, then reaches up to Father Sky, it's in perfect alignment with Source, and then it produces this flower, and that humans too are flowers. So hyphenating that word flower, are flowers of energy. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. I wish I'd thought of it. I mean, I didn't. It wasn't from me. That's not my language. But I kind of dismissed it because it's like, what is that nonsense? I've got to get to work. So I'm getting to work. It's an hour before people are supposed to be there. I'm getting ready to go into the building. First car in the parking lot. And Tamara, I passed this Royal Poinciana tree. It's a tree I've passed 100 times. And all of a sudden, this tree called me to it. And I'm standing there looking at it. It's got these wide, gnarly branches, and it has this beautiful canopy of red-orange blossoms that look like orchids. And I realized that that tree was just as alive as I was.
Oh, sure.
It was a sentient being. And I looked at this one bud that hadn't flowered yet, and that whole message about being flowers of energy came back to me. And I realized I was having my first mystical experience. And I realized that the information I had just gotten about that flower was something very important. And whatever happened, however it happened, I knew I tapped into the world of spirit. So right off, I knew it was significant. Now, I didn't know it would continue until, a few days later, more and more messages. And it's like, okay, I guess the floodgates are open and they're going to stay open.
This might also be expressed, and I'm putting here, it was Susan that asked, seeing flashes of light. It could be either one. I'd have to know more. It could be angels or fairies on the side. Sometimes if you see just motion, it's usually your spirit family if you just see motion. But if you see... Yeah, you get that a lot. Just quick. It's quick.
Yes.
It's quick. And it's not, and it doesn't feel creepy. It's just like, what's that? No. I'm like, oh, that's just me.
Oh, I've got to tell you something. In my second book, I have a chapter called Earth Angels because that's what they call fairies. But a friend of mine was telling me, she's very spiritual. She's a medical doctor. So she too is based in science. She was telling me she was out walking just last week and she kept seeing something out of the corner of her eye. And she knew, just like your readers do, your listeners do, she knew, okay, something's there. So she turned around and just started snapping pictures with her camera. She showed me the picture, and overlooking the lake, there's this little ball of fuzz, not like an orb, but almost humanoid shape. So yes, when you catch things out of the corner of your eye, quite often they could be fairies or your angels or your guides. Pick up your phone and take a picture. See if you can capture them.
Yeah, I do that. And you have to remember, but sometimes you can't. There's a couple questions that I want us to get into, like also the angel meditation, but I do want to explain. So So we kind of covered, how angels somewhat interact with us, and the same thing, similar, like this is new. We're sharing notes. Like, I don't know, this is new to like your information, my information, that there's similarities, really, quite honestly.
Right.
But that's proof of God. God, if it's truly the divine, will give me a little bit of something, a little bit of you something, a little bit of you something. And guess what? It's like watching the same movie, but it's like I get the race car scene, and you get when he picks up the girl in the car. So it's part of it. That's how it's evidential, because it's similar. And the flowers thing, Jesus comes to me all the time with flower examples. I've channeled many things about flowers and seeding, and it doesn't sound like how I talk at all. And he loves talking about that. He loves flowers. But yeah, and the things are evidential too, because we're human and we need to have proof here. So our messages, if we do get messages in our dream state, because Donna was saying, how do we get signs and so forth? If we get it in our dream state, just real quick, I don't think, first of all, and we covered this yesterday, so watch the yesterday one, Thursday with Candice, that don't expect, and I also talk about it with Donna too. Donna's going to be on the show as well. She's awesome. She's actually, thank you, Candice. That's Candice Fran. And you'll find out soon about Donna. She's pretty amazing. But we talked about just being open and not judging the information coming in. What I do, how I do it, is I'm always pleasantly surprised if I get something in a dream and I wake up and I'm still getting it. I go, okay, that's interesting. Like, a lot of times I don't know what they're trying to tell me. I'll just write it down. Other times I'll go, okay. And sometimes I'll see things that are miraculous, and I'll go, wow, who knew? But I don't judge the information coming. What does that mean? So do the human thing, because it doesn't work real well.
Right.
We just allow it and just go, okay. Like, I don't make a decision about it. I just go, okay. And it will be self-evident, whatever the signs are. I've had people, I went to, real quick, this is a quick one, so this is easy. I went to, I guess it was 4 years ago, the IMS, the International Association of Near-Death Studies. I don't know if I was speaking that year or not, but I went, I think it was Colorado, and I was in the bookstore, and I was looking at this new thing. I needed something for energy, and this woman had channeled a thing that goes in your ear that grounds you, and one helps with relieve past emotions, and there was another one, I don't know what it was, high frequency, makes you get a lot done. So I put them on, and they were working like a charm, man. I mean, I put on the one, I'm not a crier, even when people talk. I don't know why. I want to cry. But I put the thing on. I was crying like a baby. It's like, my God, these things work on you. And all weekend, I kept getting the same message from people. And it's what Jesus told me. I actually have it in my fridge. He says this: you alone are enough. So people will come up to me. I don't know. And I said, well, is there anything I need to do with this? Should I wear it or while I'm on stage, or should I take it off? And she said, no, you alone are enough. I went to around the corner to another lady who sold angel crystals, beautiful in the shape, angels. And she said, in reality, you've got everything you need. God supplies everything because you alone are enough. This went on all weekend. And I was like, okay, I had to laugh. What my reaction? What does that mean? Where's it going? I was like laughing, going, wow, I must be hard-headed. Thanks, God.
Right. I mean, that's beautiful, because, once you relate to an angel and once you connect to them, what they've told me is you've made this electromagnetic connection. Okay. And it's kind of like going through, a field of snow. The first time you make a connection, you make this little path and then you come back. But the more you connect, the wider that trench becomes. And then what information you start getting from them, you start looking around and you see more signs, you get things verified, and that only strengthens that connection. But anytime I connect with an angel, I always make sure to let them know how grateful and thankful I am, because that helps raise my energy vibrations. And when my energy is up higher, it makes it easier to connect. They're always with us, and they're always wanting to help us. We aren't always in a receptive mode, but we can learn to be.
Absolutely. Donna has good questions about crystals real quick, and I'm not ignoring you because we have so much to cover. I can already tell you right now, we're going to go over 15 or 20 minutes. If you guys have to leave, fine, but you're going to miss some good stuff. I'm just going to tell you, because this is good. Actually, as I'm talking about this, I'm getting a download that we should do a series on angels. And I mean, like, I haven't even asked you, you're busy too. You're like, thanks, Tamara, I've got enough to do. But they said that there's things that people need to handle first, but to be receptive, like grief, miss emotions, and said we need to talk about that first. So I already wrote a thing on grief that I was going to do next Friday. Haven't even talked. Don't you love how you're part of the planning committee? Everybody, Rosemary, Mark, Donna, Susan, everybody. Don't you love this?
But you know, that's so true. That's how
they need to get rid of that.
Yeah, this is how guidance works. Bringing everyone together that needs to be at the same time in order for more ideas to flower and to open.
Right. And so this just came to me, and I just don't hold back when it's God. I don't hold back, and I don't get hung up, see how that just happened. Boom. But they said, no, before you go into this, there's some things that needs handling, like housekeeping. People have some miss emotions and some grief and losses and that to be handled first. And I was like, okay. So, and then angels, we're given channel this information. Honestly, we're all from heaven. We're all just trying to find our way back. And with my Southern Belle thing, I always go, we all have a fan club in heaven, because we have a big, I call it Team God Posse. It's just big. And people get hung up on guys and their names. You need to be hung up on you and your relationship with the divine and what your path is. That's all that really matters. Right. I mean, players come in and out. You have different. When I was taking Hapkido, I had some Japanese dude kept showing up, helping me out, which is Korean. I don't know why, but you probably knew a lot. But so that changes, but we stay the same. We all get messages. We're all connected. But if we have a monkey mind, like, what about this? What about that? I got to cook dinner. Someone said, I don't know, I'm not good enough. And we get this crazy talk. They can't talk to us. Right. So we have to eliminate our crazy monkey mind so they can talk to us, and it's soft and it's gentle and it's beautiful. Yes. I think the best way to do it is a relationship. So pretend you have a partner, you married, whatever. Wouldn't you allow time with them to sit and just be and chat? That's what we need to do with them, as far as your Team God Posse. And I always start it with a state of gratitude, and things could always be worse. Right? They could always be worse. We need to be thankful. And then that to me is a great opening. Crystals, I knew the question of crystals. Do we need crystals? You don't have to have anything. You are the crystal. You are however I like them. And they sure used them in Atlanta. So I have recall on that. And there were some big ass crystals. I mean, they were like human size, bigger crystals. Okay. At the Edgar Cayce Center on the top meditation floor, they have gemstones and crystals, and the corners. When I talked there in 2018, I was teaching a day of meditation at the Psychic Conference. I was so excited because I had studied him my whole life. I mean, I was just like, wow, I can't believe I'm here doing this. And I went up to the meditation room one of the days, and the crystals are massive. And I was talking to one of the staff who was pretty cool, who had been there a long time. And I said, this is a portal. This is like an airport for like things and spiritual. And I said, do you have UFO activity? She goes, we actually do. I said, this is a portal. I said, this was meant to be on the beach to amplify. He goes, we've been told that. So maybe why I'm supposed to go to the water and amplify this stuff. I don't know, because you're already at the water. But I mean, we are all portals for the divine, especially if we allow that beautiful energy to flow through us. Don't you agree?
Yes. Oh, I totally agree. And as far as crystals go, I mean, crystals amplify energy. That's how they used to build. That's how they built the first radios. Were out of energy. I mean, we're out of crystals because the crystals brought in those energy frequencies that then became our radios. So I love using all sorts of crystals because it helps lighten, and you just embrace it. I mean, the angels are all, and our guides are always talking to us, but we need to be able to be a better receptor. And to me, holding those crystals really helps with that.
Exactly. My deal is I don't live in this world most of the time. I'm here for you guys right now, but I have to get loaded down with like lava balls and what is it?
Yeah.
Things that are grounding, dark
like hematite. And, yeah.
Hematite. Yeah, well, that's a good blood thinner. Hematite, but obsidian. That's a good one. It's also Druid's supposed to use it against dark energy, but it grounds you. I'm like all the time, so I have to get grounded. But I do have a tremendous amount of selenite in my house.
Yes,
because that's an angel stone. I know you got it. I have lots of selenite in the house. And I want to tell you guys what that does. It's an automatic clear. I have a selenite charging station. If I get any, I have tons of gemstones. My grandmother, when I was 4, and she wasn't a hippie. She was just a regular Presbyterian lady, but she really wasn't. She was hiding out because it wasn't safe to, have abilities and so forth. But she taught me all about gemstones and their beautiful colors that God made. And I had this rock box and I labeled it. And I mean, I would think back on it now, wow, she was ahead of her time. So I always knew my stuff. And I've been a gymnast, like, how do you know all that? Well, my grandmother. And she would tell me about flowers too, but selenite will clear an area if it's dark. And I put everything that I get that's new on it on the charging station. It's a purification and clearing stone that allows positive energy. And it feels so good. I got it all in my living room. I also have these big, massive, beautiful, what do they call them? Crystal clusters. And I've got them in red. I've got them in blue. I've got them in yellow. Really, you could say chakras, but really they're kind of the angel colors, a lot of them. And I got them around to amplify that so that I feel good, because I'm sitting in front of a 70-some inch TV. That's probably not good for me with radiation. FYI. They're not going to tell you maybe one day when we start growing extra ears and stuff, we'll find out that the big TVs were not good. But I have that to alleviate all that energy coming in.
Yes.
And also I'm posting this, and then if you could answer Buddha, how did you know it was Buddha? Was he fat and jolly?
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Let me say one thing about selenite first. I have some selenite wands, and I did this on one of my YouTube channels. I showed how people could use it, but just using it every morning over your body
cleanses,
clears your energy field. So that's really good.
Very good tip. So very good tip. No. One more thing. We're not done with selenite. They said we're not done yet. Okay. Sorry. So there's something else you do with selenite.
Well, I have a selenite light stand. I do
too. Sisters.
You know what? It's funny. When I first met Donna, I was a guest on her Exploring Consciousness podcast.
Oh yeah, she's awesome too, like you.
When we connected, we decided that we were twins. And now, Tamara, I think you're the third one. I think we're all triplets.
Oh my God! Actually, when you said that, my crown chakra went up like bam. So I don't know. I don't question. I just say thank you, God. Thank you.
I think that's great. So, I have my big night light. It's 2 towers of selenite with a little bulb. And so it's on all the time. And that seems to really increase that energy. And I have some really large crystals. I've, from Brazil, I've got the Arkansas healing crystals. I've got all those around.
What's that one? Arkansas.
It's there's a lot of crystal from Arkansas that are called Arkansas healers, and I don't know what they supposedly have a lot of healing energy with them. They're beautiful. Okay. It's huge cluster, but I use my selenite all the time.
And salt rocks. Let's don't forget about salt rocks. They're good.
Oh my goodness, I've got 5 of them. I have a very small 2-bedroom apartment, and I have 5 salt rocks on all the time.
Yeah, I have 1, 2.
Look at all of Donna's.
Computer. I got these. Yeah, y'all are starting to slowly find out who I am. If you pay attention, you might get some nuggets other people don't. So I've got. You're gonna find Tamara's is strange. I'm like, okay. So I've got one of these things, and this gets rid of the EMF emitters. This little doohickey was expensive. This is like $150. It's crazy, but I've got like a 40-some inch screen that I'm sitting in front of. I gotta have this.
I have one like that, but it's an orb. It's right in front of my TV.
I have St. Benedict's under my TV because dark things can come through. I have everything blessed, all electronics, including outlets with frankincense. I'm telling you, I'm giving it up tonight. Frankincense and myrrh, and I'll do it in the name of the Father, Son, and Spirit. Nothing this dark shall come through this, and so on. Because that's how the darker stuff comes through the lights. I bless lamps, hair dryers, toasters, whatever anything electrical. Okay, whatever that may be. So it kind of takes a long time to do that. Somebody, wait a minute. And then I have the lights. I have salt lights all throughout the house. I think it has to do with me managing my energy too, not just other people's energy or other whatever. You don't have to manage angel energy because it's good. But we also live in a world that people are negative. And as soon as you walk out your door, you could bring that negative, whatever, mojo, etheric mojo, weird stuff home. So if you have your home that's constantly cleansing, also being by the ocean, that's a constant cleanser, a filter.
Yes, yes. And when I walk on the beach, that salt water and walking barefoot, it detoxes. It's wonderful. Oh, and I see Donna.
This is good, Donna. Talk about that, because I do that too. And I have a charging station. There was a lady that asked Susan, I believe it was, Susan, real quick, charging your crystals. You can do it in the day or night. I have a selenite charging palette. But talk about what Donna's talking about.
Oh yeah, so she charges hers outside. I mean, you can do it in full sunlight. It's just so magical if you can charge them in the moonlight, especially a full moon. They just, you bring them in the next day and they're just alive. You can just feel them and feel the energy is being different. It's wonderful.
I leave them overnight. A lot of times I'll leave them overnight because I'm a night owl, work late. I mean, it's a long day. So I usually just put them out overnight if I have something. It's so funny here. Donna said lapis would suck me into a portal. That's a good gemstone quality you got there. Oh my God. Let me tell you what's cool. There's some really bizarre gemstones that you might not know about. I wish I could run up there and get it. I don't know if my husband's Clay listening, you can run and grab it for me. I'm kind of stuck to the chair, but it's called Donna will know this. A Bolmeth, and it looks like an Aztec temple, and it's very geometric. You would actually think that it's man-made. It looks high-tech. It looks like it's very geometric and it's very odd-looking, and that's supposed to be for transformation. It's very powerful. Aqua Aura is very powerful to me. There's also another one that's an angel one that's green, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's a green one. It looks like angel wings.
Okay, this is chrysocolla.
Okay.
And it's beautiful, and it's used for speaking through the heart. So I don't know that it's considered an angel stone, but it's so important when we do speak that we speak the truth from our heart. And Donna mentioned a portal. And this is how I connect with angels and guides, is through the heart. Because Tamara, we know that heart is the portal to those higher vibrational frequencies. You know, where Jesus is, where Buddha is. Oh, and let me go back. Was it Rosemary who asked about how did I know
Buddha? Yeah, you made me laugh. Go ahead.
Because I just saw him. He was cross-legged and he was Buddha. It's like the picture of Buddha you see under the Bodhi tree. I just saw him, I recognized it, and I immediately knew Buddha. It was so holy.
I get that. No, I get that. And he comes through. I can see him in people that also know him, because they will come through jolly and they have a lightness and a playfulness and a joy. But I've had Confucius. I've had different ones. I've had... and Jesus said, he's with me. And I'm like, who's that? And then he'll introduce me. I've been getting Mother Mary lately. I've been getting visions of Mother Mary. I'm not Catholic. I know who she is. Yeah. But it's all part of that team God. See?
Yes.
So, I
had Kuan Yin come through to me once. And I had never heard of her. I had no idea who she was. And I wrote down, well, usually when I get the messages, especially if I was driving to work, I would record them on my iPhone, and they would come in like dictation, and they would tell me new paragraph, or, how to end sentences. I mean, it was just, it was so easy. You just had to talk it, and there it was. But Kuan Yin came in and gave me these beautiful messages, and I looked her up later, and it's like, holy cow, there really was someone named Kuan Yin. She's, I think she's like the Mother Mary equivalent in the Buddhist religion.
Really?
But yeah, it's like again, it goes back to the evidential stuff.
It is evidential.
Getting new information that was totally unknown to you. And after you get enough of it, then you start learning to trust. It's like these messages that come in, like you want to discount them, like, oh, that can't really be true. Well, yes, it really is. And once you start connecting, then that connection is always there. If you can drop into that quiet space and allow your heart to open, then you can hear some of the messages.
I totally agree. Well, and it's just that easy. And a lot of times I love how there's a patience here in what you're saying, that you get information. Now I know it happens so much. When I started doing the Jesus Speaks, he would say things that was that was a lot of pressure. But he said, oh, yeah, I don't need to be waking you up in the middle of the night. We can't sit outside. I can't just tell you, you're really stressing out way too much. I mean, I was a mess. My hair was falling out. I had diarrhea. He's like, because, the judgments would come, I figured, but I said I would do it, but he would give me scripture, which I didn't know, ended up being what he said. Totally blew my mind. That was an amazing time. But they'll give you things as evidence because they know our minds are going to try to outthink it. So they will do that. Right. Again, we're all connected. I guarantee you can get the same information, but it's going to come through to you differently because, I have a different set of upbringing, knowledge. You have a different, so they have to communicate with us on our level where we are, that we would understand them. You want to speak to that real quick about the angels with that, and then we'll go into a meditation about how they uniquely speak to each of us, because to me they have, and my guides in particular have a sense of humor. Other people's guides are very serious. Mine are not serious.
Well, and I have, some are serious, some aren't. I have so many different guides that come in. But the thing about it is your connection to your angel. And that angel is going to be perfect for you, or that guide. And it may come to you as a surprise. I know someone who has a guide who is a cartoon character. And like from the comic books, and she's thinking, what? But, maybe that's someone, someone that, I don't know, if they showed themselves in a different form, she wouldn't be ready to listen. Everything is energy in our world. And once I learned to view the world through the lens of energy, I started connecting more and more. And I realized the form doesn't matter so much. It's the message that they give me, or it's the feeling, or it's the guidance that they give me. But they may come with wings. They may come to you without wings. It doesn't really matter. What is important is that connection and how it feels.
Right. The love. And I mean, if something ever feels like with people, you ever meet people and you don't know why, and occasionally you'll go, wow, I got a weird vibe off of them. I honor that. I'll go, I still, God bless them, wish them well. But if I get that creepy or whatever, I don't wait like, well, I'm sure they're really nice. I just go with it. I'm like, well, apparently for whatever reason, I'm just going to go over here. And I try to follow that because they're trying to talk to us about things like that, like who best should be in our life. Let me show you real quick what I was saying this looks like. This is that bismuth. Isn't that weird looking?
Oh, I've seen those before. Wow.
Transformation, kind of like your little Merkabah. See, I know Donna's going to buy one right now. She's on Amazon. We're going to get this. It feels crazy, but this is a higher level thing, guys. This is transformation. So this isn't like, open your, third eye. This is like, bam, bam. This is for a little bit more advanced. So you can feel it because it's after you've gotten those layers of it on you, most of your junk off. But this is when you're ready to like warrior mode. Let's go. And it's cool stuff. It's and they have jewelry in this. It's little. It's expensive. So it's little. I think this piece here was whatever. It's like $100 in their hand, but you can get smaller pieces for like $4.
Wow.
So if you wanted just to have that. So let's go into, and we got some more comments, and we're stirring everybody up. Okay, good question, Rosemary. Thank you. That's a good one. Do you actually, Candice, do you actually hear messages, or are there images, or both, or speak on that?
Okay, both. I don't hear them, Rosemary, with my physical ears. But the words that come in are so specific. It's as if I did hear them. If a word comes to me and I'm not familiar with it, I will hear, I know there's a third eye. So if there's a third ear, I hear it with my third ear.
Third ear. We did talk about an extra ear a minute ago. So,
but I hear how it's pronounced, and then they'll tell me how it's spelled. And again, it's direct telepathy, but it's so specific that it's actually like the dictation. Now, once I started getting these messages, then I started getting little snippets of visions. A little sign here or a little picture here. Yeah. Because I was not a visual person when this happened. If you said, think about the Eiffel Tower, I would see nothing. But since then, that has grown. And now I have these visions that sometimes the visions end up being the majority of the message itself. Because I've
like
learned
a movie
to open up, and I've learned to trust it. Yes.
That's the key. That's the key. Like a little mini movie. But let me add a little something here for Rosemary.
Okay.
Real quick. Okay, so they talk about clairvoyance, that's seeing in your mind's eye, clairgustance, smelling in your mind's eye. I've tasted like pistachio ice cream. She goes, it's my grandmother's favorite. They'll give me taste. They'll give me the taste of blood in their mouth. I said, they got a tooth problem back here. And so that hearing, you can hear, that's telepathy. So they tell you by thought to thought. That's how they talk to us. That's actually our true nature. Which honestly is great because it's kind of a relief not to always talk all the time. It's nice to have that, but that's how they communicate, as well as like when near-death experiencers, they'll often say, I could see, hear, smell, know everything in greater sense, but without my eyes or ears. We don't need that. That's why when people become blind, their other senses increase. So it's more like telepathy and thought, like, I need to get some milk. When you have milk, you think milk, it's like that, but it's not coming from you. Right. Okay. What are we going to say about, are we going to mention something about Donna again? She's going to buy that stone. She wants to go down another portal. So I don't know where this is going to take you, to some crazy portal if you want to try that one. Oh, she just bought it. Oh my gosh. She's too funny. It is good. It's good.
Oh, Donna, that's great. That's
my gosh, great. What a card. What a card. You wait till she's on here too. And it's funny. I was in the bathroom, which I think that spirit talks to me in the bathroom because it's the only time they can get a hold of me. But they said that we need to do something together because the energy of me, you and Donna. So we'll have to come up with something. Okay, real quick on that, guys. And then we're going to go into a meditation and end off. And I want you to buy Candice's books, The Reluctant Messenger, The Reluctant Messenger Returns. The first one about her life, her experience, her mystical, spiritual experience, her awakening. More of that in the second one, but it also has a lot of angel content. And you're just going to win with both. It's great. Look how adorable she is. The books are adorable. So fun, beautiful read. So get that on Amazon.
Thank you. I've got their ebook, their hardback, paperback, and also they're both on Audible. Yeah, they're both on Audible. And they both were actually #1 bestseller on Amazon. So I'm so blessed that happened.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Is that a recent discovery or?
No. In fact,
you should have told me that.
When I did The Reluctant Messenger, I don't know if you can see that or not, but when I first, I did a launch party, and there were so many people that bought the book during its launch that it made #1 on Amazon within an hour.
Oh,
So I feel
Candice,
so honored.
I am so happy for you.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. That is good. See, another reason to buy the book. And you should put that in your bio, by the way. I'm going to go change it and put that on
Okay.
there. Okay. So
Thank
it's
you.
what's the proper thing? #1 book on Amazon, #1.
Yeah, they were both #1, Amazon #1 bestseller.
Okay, good. That's going to go in your bio. So
Oh,
from now on, not only on mine, but you need to do that because that's very impressive. The other thing is their podcast, and then Donna has a podcast. It's funny, we all do, and we were all told to do this. Jesus told me in August to do this, and I was like, "What? Huh?" And then the name of it, and I was like, "Because all religions, really?" And I was like, "Yeah, you mentioned mysteries. So okay, what about Bigfoot? Him too, but you as well." And you're thinking, he didn't say TikTok. He didn't say whatever. He said, and he told you the same thing. And Donna, YouTube. So tell people about your YouTube channel because we're building a soul community. So between all of us here, you're going to get some good information.
You're going to get a lot of information. I actually have 3 YouTube channels, which just blows me away because I am not comfortable with doing things like this, but I'm not comfortable being a messenger. That's why I'm the reluctant messenger. And that's a title that the messengers gave me. But I have my own channel, Candice Sanderson. You can go to my website, CandiceSanderson.com, and you can see you can see all 3 of my YouTube channels. But the channel that I have has like 107 or 110 videos, short videos, but I do talk about selenite. I have a series in there about using crystals for energy. So, just go
wonderful.
Through that and
I'm so glad you're doing this. But real quick, I'm so glad you're doing this, and Donna, because this is such a big topic, and there's so many things that I know, Donna knows that I forget. I think everybody knows this. So hopefully you'll catch things that I miss because it's a big topic of all these things, like just the crystals. I'm glad you did that.
My other channel is Spiritual Conversations, and that is with Carrie Palmer, someone I met through. She bought my first book, and we've been friends ever since. We've got like probably 35, 38 episodes. So Spiritual Conversations,
and we talk about
that's on YouTube. And you can find the link on my website. But we just talk about anything and everything that is spiritual, sometimes barely spiritual, but it's a conversation with 2 spiritual people. And then my third one, which I love, is with Donna Rapido. It's called
you're kidding, Donna.
No, you didn't even know that.
Everybody wants to meet Donna. You'll meet her.
It's called The Reluctant Messenger Unleashed. And when Donna first had me on as a guest, that's how I met her, just like I met you being a guest on her podcast. She was so taken by the messages in this first book that her guides or angels came in and said, you need to do a YouTube channel with her. So it's a channel just on unleashing the book. It is a virtual book club. We go through chapter by chapter, sometimes page by page. And it's interesting, as I go back and I study, knowing Donna's going to ask me questions, I'm getting new insight and new messages with my old book. So it's wonderful. It's a learning experience for me as well, too.
That's a good point. Guys, I'd say this even just with mediumship, with spirit people, they at that point are multidimensional spiritual beings. We're spiritual beings. I don't know how dimensional we are right now because we're stuck in this body and dimension. But they can say one thing that can be multiple things, or they can have multiple meanings. That's the higher realms that can do that. So if they can do that, you certainly know your guides and angels can do that. And so you can go back and look at stuff and see a higher level meaning. So Donna's podcast, she has 2, is Exploring Consciousness. Did I say that correctly? Yes.
ExploringConsciousness.com. No, she has the podcast is Exploring Consciousness. Right. And her website is ExploreConsciousness.com. ExploreConsciousness.com.
Okay. Okay.
Donna, make sure I got that right.
Oh, she'll tell us. What was one of our things? I went, who is she? She's bossy. She's not bossy. She's fine. She cracks me up. Okay, here it goes. So this is hers too. And then they're going to find all yours on yours. I've got yours here. I'm going to put it back up again. And there's yours. So that gives you, some variety to find out different spiritual information. And we're all working together in a big global light worker, let's spread the love kind of thing going on. Right. and whatever we can share and other people can share, it's a community, where we're all growing and we're all learning. And look, it's true. Power of women. Yeah, it's true. That's true. And so I wanted to start a group called Divas for God, but but yeah, this has been great. Let's go into a little meditation about how to connect with your angels, and then we'll sign off for now. You'll be again, you've got ways to connect with Candice by our books, as well as we're going to be having Donna on, which is also does a podcast with Candice as well, and she'll be on here, and she's going to be I've already interviewed her. And her life story. And then we're going to do something on pets and the energy of animals, because that's her expertise. So, that's another way that's healing is our pets, right? And very few people talk about that. Okay. So, if you want to walk us through a meditation that might help us to connect to our angels, and then we'll thank everybody and sign off. And thank you guys for being here. We're just going to make it nice and soft and gentle. And then I'll tell everybody goodbye. And I'll put your thing up here so you'll have it. There you go.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lead you on a very short meditation. And you can listen to this later, but have a question in mind. Think of something that maybe you've been thinking about for a while, or it could be something just as simple as, where should I go tomorrow? What program should I watch on Gaia TV? I mean, it can be absolutely anything.
Intuition is the best.
Right. And, and it's actually okay if you don't have a question in mind. Just feel the energy of what it's like to be with the angels. What we're going to do is I'm going to lead you. Well, just first, we're going to open our energy field. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how we're going to do some breathing. And then I want you to just close your eyes and follow my guidance. When we get to meet our angel, ask your question and just wait for an answer. Have a pencil and piece of paper nearby. Write down whatever you hear, think, feel, or just bask in the energy of being with the angels. And then we'll come back. So the first thing we're going to do, everything is energy. And I'm going to just show you what I do to open my energy field. What I do is I start my hands in prayer position and I reach them above my head. There's actually an 8th chakra above the crown chakra. And I pierce that, and then I bring that energy all the way down around me. Like I tuck it in under my feet, and then I bring my hands back to my heart. So what I've just done is I've put myself into this divine circle. And what happens is it keeps my energy intact. It also prevents low-lying or negative energy from coming in. So it protects me, and it keeps me in a place where I can allow and I can hear the angels. So we do that, and then we're going to be doing some deep breathing. I want you to take 3 or 4 deep breaths. And as you do, breathe in through your nose. Hold it for just a second, and then exhale through your mouth. I want you to do that at your own pace 2 or 3 times. And as you do that, realize the breath that you're taking in is clean, clear, and pure energy. When you hold your breath, it circulates throughout your body. And as you exhale, you are releasing low-lying energy. Quite often, the energy that leaves is a different color. It might be slightly gray or darker. So let's take a few more deep breaths. Hold it. Exhale. As you exhale, feel how your body relaxes. Your blood pressure is lower. You're stepping into silence. And when you're ready, with your eyes closed, just follow along with me. We find ourselves in a field, standing close to the top of a hill. When we look down, we see that we're barefoot. And you can actually feel the grass beneath your feet. It feels cool. Start walking 1 foot at a time to the top of the hill. As you do, look around. Feel the wind that blows your hair. Listen to the birds that are chirping. Look around and you'll see butterflies that are landing on the different beautiful flowers, the wildflowers that are on this hillside. As you glance up, you see a beautiful blue sky. White clouds, fluffy clouds are just drifting slowly in the wind. You get a whiff of flowers. It smells so heavenly. We have now reached the top of the hillside. And as you look around, you can see as far as your eyes will let you. More and more hills, beautiful lake in the distance. You feel the wind. You hear a bee buzzing by. To the right, there's a forest. So we walk in that direction, feeling the grass beneath our feet. As we reach this densely wooded forest, we step into a path that's made of moss. The temperature drops at least 5 degrees as we step into this beautiful shaded area. We continue breathing deeply, admiring the beauty around us as we walk on this soft moss beneath our feet. What is that? You hear a sound. It's a sound of water, and you walk toward it. Off the path now, we feel the leaves crunching beneath our feet. The sound is louder. We have arrived. We were standing in front of a beautiful bubbling creek or a brook. There's a tree that's close by, and we sit on the ground. We push our back up against the tree, and we realize we almost become part of the tree. We can feel the roots of the tree as they go down deep within Mother Earth. As we look toward the babbling brook, we notice a patch of light where the sun has filtered through the leaves. But there's something different about this light. It's more than just a patch of light. It's a shaft of light coming straight from above. As we look at that, we realize it's alive. That shaft of light is alive. There are sparkles in it. And as we sit, we open our hearts. We give thanks, for we know this is a portal. This is where our angels and guides are. Each one of us can connect with divine source, with guidance, with angels through our hearts. Take a deep breath. And as you do, from your heart space, push out your energy toward this beautiful living shaft of light and ask to meet your angel. Tell your angel that you are willing to listen and to hear their guidance. If you have a question, this would be the time to ask. As you ask your question, be prepared to accept the answer in any form. You may have a thought that you know is not yours. A picture may form in your mind. There might be a knowing, and for whatever reason, you know the answer. As you connect, feel that connection to divinity. Are you smiling? Do you feel tingles? Everyone's connection is different, but your angel has now entered that bubble that we had created before we started. Your angel is within your field, ready to communicate. So let's spend a couple minutes in silence while you receive your answer, while you connect with your divinity, your angel. Take a deep breath. Send love and gratitude to your angel. If this was your first time connecting, know that you have now set the path. You have laid the foundation for further connections. Know that you can return to this stream with your back against the tree. Connect to this divinity, this angel, whenever you wish. So with your guidance, with your gratitude, with your love. It's time to rise. Turn around. Find your way back to the mossy path that guided you here. As we walk back through the woods, we have clarity of mind. We feel just a little lighter. We reach the edge of the forest and find our way back to the top of the hillside. With one last glance over the woods where we met our angels, we bid our angels farewell, and we return step by step down the side of the hill. Our footsteps echo in the distance, and we find ourselves back in our rooms where we began the meditation. And when you're ready, open your eyes, for you have returned. Thank you. Tamara, you're on mute.
There you go. Guys, let me know what you thought about the meditation. Go into the community chat room. You can also, always email me. My email's on the channel, but the community chat, we'll start a conversation about the angel meditation and what you got. It was really beautiful. Mine was beautiful. It was very poetic. I'll share it another time, but because it's been so late. But thank you so much, Candice. Guys, bye. Girls, guys. I say, call everybody guys. Bye. Her. If you're human, you're a guy. Get her book, The Reluctant Messenger, and we will see more of her, which is Candice Sanderson. You're amazing. So thank you so much. Much love to you. And thank you for this beautiful angel meditation and the time tonight. It was a fun experience. Thank you so much, guys. Much love.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. And join us next week at 4. We have premieres every Thursday at 4 and Friday at 6. And feel free, if you would like to donate, it'd be great to help the channel. God bless every one of you.